Welcome to day 14 of 30 days of eating for me and my dog after 5 years on a carnivore diet. I am tracking, documenting, and sharing every single thing that me and my dog consume, and at the end of each video, I go over a complete nutritional breakdown as well as the cost. So if this kind of thing resonates with you and you want to follow along as we try to optimize the diet, be sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos in this series. Alright, so it's day 14. It's another off day from the gym for me. It's actually Father's Day, so I'm going to be going out to eat with the family here in a couple hours. Today is going to be one of the last days that I eat intuitively. So the next 15 days are going to be all about trying to optimize the diet as much as possible to fill any nutritional void that we noticed from the last couple weeks and to try and round out nutrition as much as possible. All right, I had an awesome day with the family today. Again, it was Father's Day, so we went out to eat and the food was fantastic. I did get brisket, so I'll talk about that shortly. But me and my dog just got back from the creek and I made her food, and here's what we got. All right, today we have 7 ounces of chicken leg quarter. This is just deboned chicken. I get this for $1.79 a pound, so 7 ounces is 77 cents. Next up is a large portion of turkey neck. This is 6 ounces. I get this turkey neck for $2.09 a pound from a local butcher shop, so 6 ounces is 78 cents. Then I have 5 ounces of venison. This is completely free because I sourced this myself. I have 4 ounces of local ground beef. This is 80/20 from a local butcher shop. I get this for $2.99 a pound. 4 ounces is 76 cents. I have 4 ounces of chicken gizzards. I get this for $1.29 a pound. 4 ounces is 32 cents. And last but not least, I have 3 ounces of chicken feet, aka 2 chicken feet. I get these for $2.24 a pound, and 3 ounces is 42 cents. And you can't forget the bone broth. This is heated up and ready to go. I'm going to dump this right over her food as soon as I put all this in the bowl. So the total for this tonight is 29 ounces, and the total cost here is $3.05. And when you boil that down, that comes down to $1.68 a pound. So far today, I did have the brisket when we went out to eat, so I probably ended up consuming about 14 ounces if I had to guess. I don't think it was quite a pound, but it was probably close to it. But this brisket had to be 50% fat, and I'm not even kidding. It was very, very fatty, which I happen to love, and it was extremely tender and extremely juicy, and I really can't say enough good things about it. But let me go over here to the fridge, see what I got, and I'm gonna start cooking so I can eat before it gets really, really late. I have 8 ounces of 75/25 local ground beef and 14 ounces of local venison. And I'm actually gonna grind this up and make some burger out of it using my Ninja. So I have right at 6 ounces of beef fat trimmings that I'm gonna grind up and put in my venison. Now when I do this, I always use slightly frozen venison because it grinds up much easier. If you do it when it's super thawed out, it tends to get caught on the blades. So what I'll do now is I'll just mend this together and I'll have very fatty venison. All right, here's my beef patties obviously, and here's my perfectly made venison beef fat patties. They're even better if you mix heart in there, and sometimes I'll do heart and liver and make like a primal blend. But these patties with the fat in there are fantastic, so I'm really gonna enjoy this. This is the 1 ounce of beef fat that I had left over from last night, so I'm gonna render that right here in the skillet, and I'm gonna cook all my patties directly in that fat. Alright, patties are done and they turned out pretty phenomenally. I got a nice little crust on the outside and they are cooked to perfection. So the total for this meal, the 8 ounces of ground beef was $1.52 because I get that for $2.99 a pound. The 6 ounces of beef fat is $1.26 because I got that particular beef fat for $3.29 a pound. So the total for this meal, and this is quite a bit of food, this is like 28 ounces of food, is $2.78. So lunch ended up being $13 for the brisket platter, which was really cheap. I was surprised by that because brisket's kind of gone up. So if you combine this with lunch, it would be $15.78 for the day. So not bad actually for going out to eat and having a dinner this size. That's not bad, under $20. And then when you combine that with my dog's meal, so the entire daily total, that came out to $21.26. So total calories consumed today, I got 3,915 calories, quote unquote calories. I say this all the time, but I don't really believe in calories being the be all end all. I believe we consume nutrients, we consume food, we consume things that nourish our body. We don't consume calories. but for the sake of this, I'm tracking my calories. So I was in a 1,050 calorie surplus for the day. So 68% of my calories came from fat and 32% came from protein. That makes sense. I feel like I just kind of gravitate towards that. I feel like that's what works best for me. It makes me feel pretty optimal. So total protein consumed, 292 grams of protein. I'd say for somebody that exercises and trains in the gym, keeping that on the higher side is always going to be beneficial. Total fat consumed, 295 grams. I'm good with that. It's tracking along with what I've been averaging. All right, moving down, vitamin C, 0%. I didn't really expect to have any vitamin C because I didn't eat any organ meats or really anything outside of muscle meat and fat today. So obviously starting tomorrow, I'm going to be trying to optimize the diet, and I'm going to be really working on getting vitamin C up there. So we'll see how that turns out. Iron, I got 4.5 times my RDA, good there. Calcium, 23%, not bad for just consuming muscle meat and fat. If I wanted to bump that up, I'm going to start adding in dairy. I'm going to start adding in eggshell powder. All these things should bump up calcium pretty quickly and pretty easily. Folate, 18%. Not surprised by this. Again, didn't have any organs, didn't have any kind of variety. Vitamin A, 1%. That's very, very low for vitamin A today. And this one I'm not ever concerned with because I do eat organs occasionally. And the moment I introduce those into my diet, vitamin A skyrockets. Potassium, 106%, good there. All right, moving down to B vitamins. B1, okay, that's one that's usually been below my RDA pretty consistently. It has been above my RDA a few times. And again, that usually comes from variety. But B1 is actually 96% today, which is awesome because that's basically my RDA. I mean, I'm good with that. All the other B vitamins are at or above my RDA, so I'm good there. Vitamin D, I got 22%. Not bad for just muscle meat and fat. If I want to get more nutritional sources of vitamin D, which I will start working on tomorrow, I will include things like fatty fish, organ meats, dairy, eggs, all those different things should bump vitamin D up pretty easily. But I'm not concerned with this, obviously, because I am out in the sun every single day. Vitamin E, 25%, and vitamin K, 20%. Again, these are two that kind of go hand in hand. They're consistently low or have been consistently low the past couple weeks. These seem to come up pretty quickly when I add in things like chicken, organs, dairy, pork, and seafood. Now, there is one issue with vitamin K. It doesn't track that pork has much vitamin K. So that's something I'm going to have to take into account when I start optimizing starting tomorrow, because Chronometer, I feel like, is not going to show that. But we will have to discuss that. And I'm pretty sure that based off what I'm seeing online, I'll be meeting my RDA of vitamin K pretty much every single day, even if Chronometer isn't tracking that. Copper, 2 times, right at 2 times my RDA, I'm good there. Magnesium, 66%. Again, this is not bad for muscle meat and fat. There's a lot of magnesium in there that I wouldn't have thought would be in there. And like I say in all my videos, that's very bioavailable magnesium, because the magnesium that comes from plants, which plants are inherently higher in magnesium, a lot of that gets bound up by the plant and the plant toxins, and you're not able to absorb that. Manganese, 12%. This is one that's been chronically low pretty much the entire time I've been doing this. The only time it came up quite a bit was when I added in oysters and seafood. I did buy a bunch of different kinds of foods that are going to be very high in manganese, so I'm definitely going to start including those, and I'm really hoping to bump this up. Phosphorus, 3 times my RDA. Selenium, 3.5 times my RDA. Sodium, I'm good on. Zinc, 4.5 times my RDA. Carnivore diet is very high in zinc, which makes sense because most animal products have a ton of zinc in there. And, you know, a lot of these vitamins and minerals are just very essential for human health. And it's pretty awesome that you can get all this stuff from just eating meat. So I think that's very telling about why this diet is so healing and why it benefits so many people. All right, moving on down the list to lipids, fats. So total cholesterol for the day was 1,168 milligrams of cholesterol. I'm good with that. There's no target set on this, but cholesterol is essential for the human body. So I'm good with getting that amount of cholesterol. My omega-3 to omega-6 ratio as far as RDA goes, I got almost 2 times my RDA on omega-3 and only 27% of my RDA on omega-6. I'm totally fine with not getting my RDA on omega-6 because omega-6 tends to be a little more pro-inflammatory. You want to keep that kind of low. And I like to keep my omega-3 very high because omega-3 is very beneficial. It's very essential for brain health, for hormone function, for a lot of things, and it's very anti-inflammatory. I got 118 grams of saturated fat, trans fat, 13.9 grams. Again, all these fats, if they're coming from animal products, absolutely essential for human health. I have no problem getting this amount of fat in my diet. And as a matter of fact, I prefer it. Going down the list here, all the proteins and essential amino acids. Just like always, I well exceeded my RDA on every single one. And that is very justified and warranted because meat is a very complete protein. I mean, there's definitely some areas that could use some improvement. Pretty much the same areas as normal: folate, vitamin A, vitamin C, D, E, and K, and manganese. At least getting that up there in the optimal range a few times a week would probably be very beneficial. But what I did get just from eating muscle, meat, and fat is not bad. I mean, it's really not bad. And again, starting tomorrow, starting on day 15, that's the halfway point in this journey. I'm going to start trying to optimize the diet. I'm going to try and meet my RDA on as many of these nutrients as I can as often as possible. I know it's not going to be possible every single day, and it is going to take some planning and coordination, but I think if I can do it often, and if I can make a conscious effort to intentionally try to optimize the diet to get these nutrients in there as often as possible, I feel like that's probably all that's needed to stave off any kind of nutritional deficiency that could potentially develop over a long period of time of not having this stuff in my diet. And hopefully this little experiment, this little series here, helps somebody else out. Because I know there's a lot of people that come to Carnivore because they're kind of like me. They were sick coming into this. They're dealing with some sort of problem they're trying to heal. And there's a lot of information out there about Carnivore. And I wouldn't say that any of it's misleading, but there's just a lot of opinions. And a lot of that just comes from personal experience, and I think that's totally fine. But I do think it's important to try to optimize as often as possible, because if you fall into the routine of just consuming animal fats and red meat, and you're not adding any kind of variety in there, from what I'm seeing doing this little experiment, there is a potential to develop certain deficiencies over an extended duration. But with that said, that's going to do it for me. That's going to wrap up day 14. Tomorrow's the halfway point, so be sure to tune in for that as I start to optimize the diet. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to like, subscribe, join the Apex Tribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the future videos in this series. And I'll see you on day 15. All right, peace out.